Hey y'all, so today I want to talk to you about vampires. And I'm not going to talk to you about the classic, swarthy, dark guy with a widow's peak and a cape who, sleeps in a coffin during the day and comes alive at night to bite you on the neck and suck your blood and turns into a bat and flies away. We're going to talk about a couple of different vampires. And I've actually known two people who were vampires in my life. The first vampire was a young man that I met when I was involved in the pagan prison ministry. He was incarcerated at one of the prisons where I went and ministered to Wiccans, witches, and pagans. I don't know what he was incarcerated for. I never asked because I wanted them to tell me if they felt comfortable telling me. But this young man, he told me that he was possessed by the spirit of a vampire. And he actually ingested blood. He had people that he had an agreement with or an understanding with that they would let him drink their blood, and he believed that ingesting these people's blood not only gave him sustenance, but it gave him physical strength, it enhanced his senses, and just made him spiritually stronger and spiritually dominant, for lack of a better word. Again, he believed he was possessed by the spirit of a vampire, making him a vampire as well. I don't recall how this occurred. I don't remember if he told me or if I asked, but I don't remember how he became possessed by this vampire. I don't know if he had a psychological issue or a physiological, biological, medical issue that made him believe this. Because I didn't really know him very, very long before. He finished his sentence in South Carolina, but apparently he had done something in a different state. So as soon as he finished his time in South Carolina, he was extradited to another state, and we sort of lost touch. But it was very interesting on a psychological level to hear him talk about how the spirit was inside of him, and he had conversations with the spirit. It was a conscious force inside of him that he would talk to. Anyway, the second person who I've known as a vampire, she would not claim to be a vampire. She would not identify as a vampire, but I recognized her as a vampire. As far as I know, she did not ingest blood. She was what they used to call an energy vampire. But today, we might call these people attention whores. Sometimes it's hard to differentiate between an energy vampire and an attention whore because they both sort of can be draining. Anyway, I worked with this girl when I worked up at Walgreens. She was, I can't even remember her name. Let's call her Countess Dracula. Countess Dracula was shorter than me by probably a good foot, and I'm about 6 feet tall. She had very pale skin, black hair, and she had these sort of bug eyes, and she walked around with this sort of aura of melancholy. I wouldn't even probably call it an aura because it didn't really emanate, it drew in, it sucked energy in. She just leached all the vitality and energy and happiness out of you just with her presence. And this really put me in a bad mood. And I'm not one of these people who walk around all the time with a stupid grin on my face and happy-go-lucky, but just being around this person, it just sucked all the life and happiness out of me. And so in order to deal with her and to deal with it, what I did was I went and found the biggest, fattest candle that I can find. Something like this. Isn't this candle huge? This is a huge candle. I mean, I think I could hurt somebody with this candle. Actually, I keep this candle by my bed in case someone breaks in at night and tries to rape me. I figure I could threaten them with this candle if they change their mind. Anyway, I found a big fat candle like this, and what I did was I snatched her picture off of Facebook. We were not Facebook friends, but I was able to look at her profile. I was able to look at her profile picture, and so I got her picture off of Facebook. And what I did was, whenever I knew I was going to work with her, I took her photo and I put it under this candle with the idea that instead of drawing energy from me, she would draw energy from this candle. And so whenever I had to work with her, I'd set up this candle and I'd light it right before I left the house. And that way, whenever I had to deal with her, she was pulling energy from this candle and not pulling energy from me. And that actually worked for me. I eventually left that job for somewhere better, and I don't really know what happened to her. I did hear at one point through someone else I worked with that Countess Dracula needed a heart transplant. So I don't know if she had some kind of physiological or biological problem that caused the paleness and the melancholy, the sort of depression-like aura around her. I don't know if she ever got that heart transplant, but I hope that if she did, it healed her in whatever way to where she's not this sort of draining force anymore. But anyway, that's my story of the two vampires that I've known. Have you ever known a vampire? Tell me about it. Use the comment section. Tell me about your experiences with the vampire. And I'll talk to you next time. Goodbye, everybody.